Hello students, good morning. Hope everyone is fine over there. Our previous class, we had begun with the new lesson that is Oru Manushan. Okay, and we had completed reading out about the author. Okay, Vaibko Muhammad Bashir. We read about his lifestyle, his major works, and what all achievements he had. Okay, after that, here also we had begun with some two paragraphs. Okay, if I'm not wrong, I had completed two paragraphs. So let me just recall the lesson once and then we'll go ahead. Okay, so Oru Manushan means, as I had said in the previous class, that is a human being. And then later I had said that here the author has said and he has shared some of his experiences which he had in his life. Okay, in the beginning he tells, he uses the pronoun called you, and he says that when you don't have any definite plans and you will be wandering from here and there, okay, from one place to another, and you will be very far away from your home and you will be not having any money with you. Okay, and you will be not knowing the local language of the place to which you have already gone there in search of a job. And then he says that, and in that case you will be knowing only two languages, that is English as well as Hindustani. Okay, but he later continues, but very few people know either of these languages. He says that English and Hindustani language, some few people know how to speak in these two languages. And then later he'll say these type of what incidences, these type of problems will make you to uh, to be caught in a tight situation, in a difficult situation, which means predicaments, which I had said. Okay, and then when you are caught in such a difficult situation, many adventurous things, means many new things will come to you before you, means it happened to you. Okay, so next, after this, we had also continued the next paragraph, that is, you find yourself caught in a dangerous situation, a total stranger rescues you. Even after years pass by, you will sometimes remember the man and wonder why he did so. So later he tells that when you find that you have caught in such a dangerous situation and a total stranger, okay, a person who doesn't know you, okay, he'll come and rescue you, he'll come and he'll help you. So to that person you are not going to forget him easily. Okay, so years pass also, you are not going to forget him, and you will be keep on thinking that why did that person come and help you as he was stranger. Okay, if it was a friend and if he had come to help you, then it was okay, then no need to think about those all things. Okay, but a stranger, when he comes and helps to you, okay, like you will feel, okay, why did that person come and help me, you will be thinking every time, isn't it? So here in the same way, these all incident has happened to this author. Okay, let us begin the lesson. So here he says, let us say it is I, not you, who remembers the man. So here the same situation, the same unpleasant situation had happened to this author. He says that now let us say I'll use the pronoun I instead of you and tell you the story which I had experienced. And then he says, I am now narrating an experience which I had. I have some vague notions about human beings, including myself. So he's telling that now I'm going to narrate my experience, and he says that I have some vague notions. Vague means unclear, notions means belief. Okay, I have some unclear beliefs about human beings, and he continues to say that including myself, because he is also a human being. So he says that I have very unclear beliefs about human beings. Why does he say that? Just see there. There are around me good men and thieves, those who suffer from various infectious diseases and from madness. One has to live carefully. So, he says that in this world there are both good men as well as bad. Okay, and then he says there are also people who are suffering from infectious diseases, okay, and also from madness. So one has to be very carefully, he has to live very carefully, and he has to never trust anyone, because by the appearance, no, you will not come to know how that person is. Okay, if he is good looking, if he is smart, then most of the people think that he might be good in his character or behavior, but it will be not like that. Sometimes it happens that a person who will be very good in looking, but from inside he'll be very cruel. So you have to never what trust anybody easily. Okay, and then the world has more evil than good. We realize this only after we get hurt. So, this unpleasant situation has thought something to this person, that is the author. Okay, so he says that in this world, more than good, evil things happen. So, when you will come to know about this is when you get hurt to yourself first, then only you are going to realize what is good or bad in this world. Hope you are understanding. Okay, if you have any doubts regarding the lesson, or if my voice is not clear, if the video is not clear, you can send me the personal message and you can ask me to correct it. Okay, as in the previous video, the video was not clear, isn't it? It was shaking very much. So I have tried to just what I've tried not to make that mistake once again. So uh, let us begin. Yes, fine. Where were ye? Yes. Let me record here that incident which was perhaps quite insignificant. So here he is telling the incident. He is recalling it. He is telling that let me tell you the incident which has happened to me. It was quite insignificant. Insignificant means a small incident which is not so much important. Okay, it's just for namesake, unimportant it is. Then it was quite a big city in the valley of a mountain, some 1,500 miles from home, the inhabitants of which had never been known for the quality of mercy. So, as the author, what he is doing is he used to travel to a big city. Okay, when he was traveling, the road which he passed was from the valley of a mountain, and then from his home he had to walk 1,500 miles. He had to pass this much of distance to reach his destination. So he used to go to that place for his job. And then he says the inhabitants means the people who stay in that city were not at all having the quality of mercy. They were very cruel. Okay, and then they were cruel people. Murder, robbery, pickpocketing, these were daily occurrences. So he says, as those people were very cruel, their daily work was committing murder, okay, robbery, pickpocketing. So these were their daily occurrences, means daily work. It was like as easy as you have a nice food. Okay, so very easily these people used to do these all crimes. By tradition, the people were professional soldiers. So here the author says that by the tradition, by the culture of that city, the people were professional soldiers. Okay, and then some of them went to distant places and lent out money on interest. And what they used to do, and some people what they used to do is they used to go to the nearer places from that city itself, and they used to give the money. Okay, they used to give the lent out the money, means if anybody needs the money like a loan, okay, they used to give the money on loan with interest, they used to take it back. And then Many others served as watchmen in banks, mills, and large commercial establishments in big cities. Okay, so some of the people, what they did, they also served as watchmen of the banks and mills, the larger commercial, okay, factories and all. They all the people who were staying in that city, they did this also. Okay, and then money was highly valued by them. For money, they would do anything, even commit murder. So, there in that city, people, they had more importance to money itself. Okay, they did not care for human beings. Okay, their emotions, their thoughts, their feelings. But the only thing which they valued was money. For money's sake, no, they would even go and kill somebody else, the person who is very stranger to them. I stayed in that city in a very small, dingy room on a dirty street. I carried on a profession there, teaching English to some migrant laborers from 9:30 till 11 in the night. So, here the author is telling that he was staying in a city where which was a very small, and it was a very dingy room. Dingy means dull. Okay, that too it was on a dirty street. And then what he says is, when he was living in that place in a small dirty dingy room, what he did is he had a profession. What profession he had is teaching English to some migrant laborers. He used to teach the migrant laborers there, and that too from 9:30 till 11 in the night. Okay, at night what he used to do, 9:30 in the night itself. Okay, 9:30 till 11, some 2.5 or 3 hours he used to teach them. What he used to teach is, I taught them to write addresses in English. Learning to write an address in English was considered great education there. So the profession was, he was teaching English to the migrant laborers. What he was teaching is, he did not teach any lessons or grammar, but what he did is he just taught them how to write a address. Okay, learning to write an address was considered in that place, it was considered a great education. Okay, and then he continues to say, you must have seen people who write addresses at the post office. They were paid anything between 1.5 and 4 annas for writing an address. So in that place, as writing an address was great education. So what happened, what he says is, he says that in post office you must have seen the people who are only kept for writing address. Okay, those people who just write address, they were paid between 1 anna till 4 annas. Okay, so their only work was to write the address. And then I taught the skill of writing address to people in order to escape the same fate myself and to see if I could save some money. So he started teaching how to write an address, how to what show the skill of writing address to the people in order to escape from the same fate. Same fate here means the people whose fate, how it is, how cruel those people are, the city, the inhabitants of that city. Okay, just to escape the same fate, he shouldn't have the fate like those people. So what he did, he started teaching the people, the migrant laborers there, how to write an address. And then only this was the way to save money there. And then he says, in those days I would sleep all day and wake up at 4 in the evening. This was to save the expense of drinking my morning tea or eating the noon meal. And then author says that while he was working there, what he used to do is, as he used to go at night to teach the migrant laborers, so whole day what he used to do, he used to sleep, and at evening, in the evening at 4 o'clock, he used to get up. Why did he did so like this? Because in order to save the expense, if he would not sleep, then he would feel hungry, he should have breakfast, he should have his lunch. Okay, he might feel to drink some tea or juice like that. So in order to save these all expenses, no, what he used to do, he used to sleep all day, and in the evening at 4 he used to get up. Okay, and then One day I got up at 4 p.m. as usual. I finished my daily course and stepped out for my tea and a meal. You must understand that I was dressed in a suit. I had a wallet in my coat pocket. I had 14 rupees in it, my life savings at that time. So then what he says is, one day what happens, he gets up at 4 p.m., okay, as usual, and then he finished his daily course means his daily work, okay, cleaning the house, okay, cleaning his clothes, whatever it might be, his household work he finished. And what he did, he went out to have his tea and meal. Okay, what he used to do, only uh, in a day he used to have only one cup of tea and a one time of food he used to have, just to save the money, isn't it, as he said before. So what happens is, one day he gets up at 4 p.m. as usual, and then he'll finish all his daily work, and then he goes out to have his tea and meal. And while he was going, what he's wearing is, he's wearing a suit, and then he has a wallet in his coat pocket. And what that pocket consists of is, I had 14 rupees in it. So as you know, 14 rupees was more, okay, in those days. Okay, like now if you take 14 rupees and go outside, only a tea you can have it, but not the meals. But those days 14 rupees was it was meant by, like, it was more money. And then he says that my life's savings at that time, he says that 14 rupees was the savings, okay, only 14 rupees after cutting out all the what his daily this one expenses, no, what he used to do, he used to save 14 rupees. And then what he does after wearing a suit and taking the wallet, what does is, he enters a crowded restaurant. So he says, I entered a crowded restaurant. I ate a full meal consisting of chapatis and meat curry. I drank tea as well. The bill came to 11 annas. So, as usual, he goes to a restaurant and he has his tea and a meal. So, this time he entered a crowded restaurant, means that the restaurant was too much busy, it was full of rush there. So, somehow he'll manage to go inside and he'll get a seat and he'll have his food. What does he have in his food is chapatis he'll have, and then meat curry, and then he also drinks a tea. Then the bill, after having these all things, no, what was the bill was, it was only 11 annas. So after that, I put my hand in my pocket to pay it. I began sweating profusely and almost digested in an instant all that I had eaten. The reason was my wallet was not there. So, what happens is, after having, when the waiter comes and gives the bill, okay, and when he opens the bill and see, it was 11 annas, so now he has to pay it. So what he'll do, he'll put his hand in his coat pocket to remove the wallet. And what happens the next was, he'll begin sweating profusely means plentifully, okay, continuously he'll begin to sweat. And why is he sweating is because, and he says that I almost digested in an instant all that I had eaten. So when he puts his hand in his pocket, he doesn't find his wallet. So for that, what he'll do, he'll get tensed and he'll start shivering, okay, he'll start sweating. And then whatever he had there sitting there in that restaurant, the meat curry and chapatis, and he drank tea, everything was digested in a very few seconds, because he was literally into tension that his wallet is not there in his pocket. So how he has to pay the bill there? If he doesn't pay the bill, the owner is not going to leave him outside, isn't it? So for that sake, what happens, he'll start what sweating continuously, and he'll check his pocket once more. And then what happens, I said, someone has picked my pocket and taken my wallet. So when he was about to pay the bill, he was there was no this one what wallet in his pocket. So he'll say to the owner that someone has taken my pocket away, someone has picked my pocket, okay, and there is no wallet in the pocket, he says. And then what does the owner reply is, it was a very busy restaurant. The owner gave a loud guffaw, startling everyone around. He caught me by the lapels of my coat and shaking me cried, "This trick won't work here. Put the money down and go, or else I'll gouge your eyes out." So when this author says that he doesn't have what money, okay, as his this one what wallet is been stolen, at that time what happens, the owner, what he'll do, as it was a very busy restaurant, no, all the people were sitting there, they were having food, okay, and some were standing also, because there were no empty places. So what happens is, the owner, what he'll do, he'll loudly start laughing. Guffaw means laugh. Okay, so he'll start laughing loudly. Okay, when he'll start laughing, all the people around there in the restaurant stare at him. They all look at the owner, and then what he'll do, after laughing so loudly, he catches the lapels of my coat. Lapels means just below the collar there will be one more folding, isn't it, for a suit? So that is called as lapels. So what he does is, that owner, he'll catch the this lapels of the coat of this author, and then he'll start shaking and he'll tell loudly, okay, that is, this trick is not going to work here. Okay, whatever you are telling now, that you don't have wallet, this is all the things, no, these all what you can say is, so he says that these silly reasons are not going to work here. So it is better you take out the money and put down here on the table. If you do not do that, then I'll gouge your eyes out. Gouge means cut out roughly or remove something very badly. So he says that if you do not keep the money sincerely on the table, then I'm going to just take out your eyes out. Okay, and then next, so by this only you will come to know that how cruel the people are. So how cruel this owner is. Okay, he is not at all listening, he is not at all caring the person who is there. At least in appearance he can judge the person, no, that he is so innocent, that he is wearing a coat, he is so nice, okay, he is requesting so nicely. But this person, that is author, sorry, not author, the owner, he doesn't listen to him. He'll start shouting, and what he'll do, he'll come to fight over there. So then later what happens, I looked at the people around me and did not see even one kind face. They had the look of hungry wolves. Okay, so what happens is, after when this owner will say that I'm going to remove your eyes out, what happens, this author, he'll see just around there in the restaurant, and he'll be checking whether if any kind person is there or what to help me. But he doesn't find any of the kind people there, but all the people will be like a hungry wolves. They'll be waiting now what will happen in the next, to enjoy the situation. They'll be waiting like a hungry wolf, like if something delicious dish is kept over there, and how all the hungry wolves or animals will go and attack it to him, no, in the same way all the people there were staring to that person, that is author, just what will happen next. And they just wanted the entertainment, they just wanted to enjoy the scene over there. And then if he said he would gouge my eyes out, he would gouge them out. So your author says that if the owner has said me that he is going to gouge my eyes out, he is going to remove my eyes out, then really he would do that, because he was so cruel. Okay, he was so horrible. And then he says, I said, let my coat be here. I'll go and bring some money. The restaurant keeper laughed again. He asked me to take off my coat. So what this author does is, he requests the owner of that restaurant. He'll say that I'll remove my coat and keep it here, and I'll go home and bring some money, so that till I come you can keep this coat here only. Okay, so politely, so kindly, innocently he is requesting the owner. But this owner, he is not at all listening. As I had said before, that the people who were staying in that city were not at all having the quality of mercy in them. Okay, they were very rude. As you know, the people were murderers over there. Okay, the pickpocketing, robbers, these all things they used to do. So even this restaurant keeper also is the same. So what he'll do, when author requests him, he doesn't respond to him properly. What he'll do, he'll start laughing very loudly, and what he'll do is he'll ask him to, okay fine, take out your coat here. So what the author does is he'll just remove his coat and he keeps on the table. And then later what happens is, this restaurant keeper, again he'll tell that he asked me to take off my shirt, so he'll ask him to take off his shirt also. So author, what he'll do, even he'll accept to that and he'll start removing off his shirt. Then just see there, I took off my shirt. He asked me to take off both my shoes. I took off both shoes. Finally, he asked me to take off my trousers. So the idea seemed to be to strip me, gouge out my eyes, and send me out naked. Okay, so what he'll do one by one, when he'll say in a polite manner that I'll just remove my coat and keep it, you keep it with you, so that I'll go and get the money. But this owner, what he'll do, he'll take it in a wrong sense, and what he'll do, first he'll ask him to remove the coat, and then later he'll ask him to remove the shirt. And this politely, this person is so innocent that whatever he's telling, he's doing that. And then he'll ask him to remove his both the shoes also, and the author, what he'll do, he'll remove his shoes also. And then finally what the owner will do is he'll ask him to take off his trousers means pant. Okay, so he'll ask him to remove his pant also. And then when this owner will tell that take off your trousers, so one thing that comes into the author's mind is, this person wants to strip me out, he want to make me what naked, and he will take out my eyes and send me outside. Okay, and then he says, I said I have nothing on underneath. So I here means the author. Okay, so the author says, I do not have anything in my trousers underneath, so please do not ask me to remove my pants. So when he'll say that I have nothing in underneath, so everyone will start laughing there. Okay, who all are present in the restaurant, they'll start laughing. And then the restaurant keeper said, I doubt it, you must have something on underneath. So this restaurant keeper, what he'll do, he'll start making fun of this author. What he'll say, I have a doubt that you are not removing your pants, means there is something in the inside your pants. And then he says, about 50 people repeated, there must be something on underneath. So overall in the restaurant, in that crowded restaurant, instead of having their food, instead of concentrating on their own matter, what all the people will do, they will be having more interest on the other one. Okay, so what kind of a scene is created there, so they are enjoying that scene. So then what happens is, all the people will start shouting that there must be something on underneath, so only he is not removing the pants. And then my hands refused to move. I saw in my imagination a man standing in the crowd, stark naked and without his eyes. So when all the people will start shouting, what he'll do, he'll be holding his hand to his pants. Okay, so what he'll do, he'll start imagining himself, okay, in a very so much crowded restaurant. What happens is, a person is standing without his clothes and without his eyes. Okay, he is imagining himself that he has no clothes on his body, and also his eyes are being taken out. Okay, it's been gouged out by the owner. So I hope you have understood the lesson till here. So as time doesn't permit us to complete the whole lesson in one video, so I request you to read the lesson till where I have finished. So let us wind up this lesson here itself, and then I'll continue the next part in my next video. Okay, till that, take care. Thank you.